there's a Division I version of yourself that exists somewhere out there in the future that you can discover in real life. So in this video, I'm going to be going over how to unlock the Division I version of yourself, so then you can understand what you would need to be doing right now to become that best version of yourself behind the dish. Without further ado, I am Coach Brock Johnson, founder and CEO of Backstop Built, the complete catcher's training program. And I am going to be going over a framework that's going to discover and go deeper than you have ever thought within your mind to unlock that Division I version of yourself. Because truly, the physical stuff that you do, all the things that you think you need as a actual catcher really don't matter if you don't unlock what I'm about to show you. So let's dive right into it, and I'm gonna go over the current you, what you are doing right now and how you are messing up, and then the D1 version of you. So while I'm going through this, I want you to close your eyes and think of what would D1 version of myself be doing. Let's say you're playing at your dream school. Maybe that's the biggest baseball program out there at the Division I level. A lot of you guys could be LSU, Vanderbilt, something of that nature. And I want you to think, okay, I'm there right now and I figured it out. I made it happen. What did I do in order to become that best version of myself? Okay, what did I do for my blocking, throwing, receiving, my overall catching, but more importantly, my confidence? What did I unlock that allowed me to go there? Now, what you need to do is work backwards. What would that version be doing every single day to become that version of yourself? Right now, a lot of you guys are not working on that timeline. You're currently not doing that to get yourself to that Division I version that you want to become. And that's exactly what I'm going to be going over here today. Now, if this speaks directly to you currently, what you're doing, I just want to let you know, do not get upset, do not get butthurt, but I'm truly just trying to inspire you to let you know that what you're doing right now is most likely not on that right path. And newsflash, that's how it is for almost all your competition out there. So if you start getting on that right path, it's going to make this so much easier, and you can actually see your dreams not just stay dreams, but become a reality one day. So if you are a high school catcher right now who wants to play Division I baseball and you want to unlock that best version of yourself in the future who is currently playing D1, then I need you to understand that what you're currently doing is not going to cut it. But that Division I version of yourself in the future would be doing this stuff. And this is exactly what you're missing, and it starts today. What you're actually doing right now in order to see that become a reality, to see that D1 version of yourself not just stay a dream, but become a reality. And it all depends on what you put into practice every single day within your actual training to unlock that confidence of knowing that you actually have the skills to belong at that level. Without further ado, we're gonna go over what you're currently doing. So for a lot of you guys right now, where you're messing up is you have no clear plan. Okay, you have no structure for what you're doing every single day. You guys are just trying to do what you think you should feel like you're doing. Okay, I hear that a lot. Like, I feel like I need to do this. You are a 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old catcher right now, and you're not a high-level catching coach, and you're just going based off your feelings. Can you see how that could turn into a disaster? Trust me, I did the same thing. Okay, what you guys are mostly doing is random drills. This is going to hurt you guys the most. This is where you find a catching coach on social media. You find a guy who just posts drills. Do this drill, it's gonna save your career. And then you do that drill. You ask your dad, hey, can you go to the backyard, throw to me? I wanna try this new drill. This guy posts cool stuff. Awesome, cool. Or maybe an MLB guy, you saw him doing that drill. You go try it. Issue with that, and where you gotta be extremely careful, is one drill is a small piece of the puzzle, very, very small piece of the puzzle. You need a full progression that's tailored towards you. So you might not even know if that drill is actually going to help you. The other option you might be doing if you're like, okay, I wanted to invest in my catching, and you pay for a coach, is you go see him one time a week with a private catching coach. Okay, private catching coach, where you'd get nothing the other 6 days a week. That's really, really harmful for your development, and honestly is going to have you fatigue out quick, because you're like, we're investing a lot of money for this 1 hour session. We're only able to see him one time a week. Scheduling gets really hard. Hopefully you can see him one time a week. That'd be actually really consistent for this type of model. And you got to ask yourself, is doing things with a coach with structure only one time a week actually going to cut it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, guys. So that's where you want to be careful with that. And then you actually end up just doing more random drills when you invest in a catching coach, because you're obviously not going to sit on your butt if you're a hungry player wanting to get better. You're going to start doing random drills the other 6 days a week. And that overall leads to, again, no clear plan. Now, a lot of you guys, the biggest issue who maybe you're a little more experienced, you kind of like feel like you know how to coach yourself, or you're seeing that catching coach, you're still guessing on what to fix. And I don't mean this generally, I mean it really, really specifically. So you might think you need to improve your pop time, and the biggest thing holding you back is your transfers. So you start grinding on your transfers. But if I were to do your evaluation, more often than not, it has nothing to do with the actual transfer. You might just not be putting yourself into a good position to get a good transfer. So you actually are guessing on what to fix in a very specific manner, and then you never are able to fix the actual problem. And then that is going to lead to inconsistent work, because when you don't know what you're fixing and you don't see results, you are not very motivated to keep doing that again. Okay, it's going to get really inconsistent, and now you're further away from your goal, and then you're just trying to maintain. It's like, let me go out there and receive off the machine, do a few blocking just to like kind of keep that skill. So you're not taking it to a new level, so you're staying average. Do you think that D1 coaches or even just really good college programs want to recruit catchers that are just average? Think about how many catchers are trying to play college baseball. Absolutely not. And that's the issue. Okay, right now, currently you actually have low confidence, mostly because of all these other training issues. They've confused you so much. You're not seeing the results you want. Your pop time is still a 2:05, 2:1, and you are now wondering like, okay, am I even good at this position? Why is it not paying off? Why me? My blocking isn't where I want it to be. My receiving isn't, and you're not receiving the offers or attention from those coaches. So yeah, it hurts your confidence. I fell for that too in my career. The harder I worked, the more confidence I felt like I was losing, because I'm like, man, I'm working so hard that I should be, at this top tier. Why am I not Buster Posey right now? And then you start to second guess everything you're doing, and it hurts your head. Because confidence, guys, is having a stack of undeniable proof that you can actually do what you're saying you can do. So a good example is if someone's like, hey, what's your pop time? And you're like, 1:85, but you're lying in the back of your head. And then next time a guy goes to steal, you're like, oh, I hope he doesn't steal. That's not true confidence. That just means you were just trying to lie to yourself to kind of like breed confidence, which you don't want to do that either, because when you're lying to yourself. Biggest issue for what you're doing right now is poorly tracked metrics as well. That's really, really tough, because you don't know who you truly are on paper or statistically or through any sort of data within the big things you want to be tracking as a catcher. And why that's important is because, again, we go back to how you feel. I feel like I have a fast pop time. Coaches have told me I have a fast pop time. Other parents have told me that. I feel like the pitching staff trusts me as a blocker. Okay, it's all on how you feel, but stats don't care about your feelings, and they will never lie, unfortunately. And fortunately, it's also a good thing. So if you have a bunch of pass balls every game, that's going to show up in the stat book if it's tracked right. If you truly have a 1.9 pop time, then by statistics of what level you're playing at, you're going to be throwing out a decent amount of people. And if you're not, okay, let's find what's not going right. Maybe you're super inaccurate with that 1.9. So you need to track things. I have a separate video on that where it shows you what to track in your training, and also what to track in your game film, and how to actually know what is getting better and what to improve, because it's really hard to make decisions about your career when you don't have the data to show it. You're always going to make emotional decisions. Now, you're also right now doing random camps or showcases, okay? So PBR showcases, perfect game showcases, things like that, and then college showcases. I think these are really good to get experience and exposure, because at some point you need to do really good at those showcases with the right skills. But you're going to these showcases wondering like, okay, why am I not getting the exposure I want? You know, we were told to sign up for this. It was supposed to be this great opportunity, and partially it was, but you got a ranking, or maybe you got your pop time back in your video and you're like, man, shoot, that's not good. It's because you couldn't handle it under pressure because you weren't confident enough to actually have the skills to play there. And now you're starting to second guess, okay, do I actually belong at a D1? So I don't think showcases are bad. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying there's a time and a place for them, and also getting experience and being able to do under pressure is really, really good. That's the day and age we live in. Then the last one I would say is just poor outreach and marketing. Okay, you got to know how to market yourself once you have those skills. Some of you guys might be marketing yourself right now, but if you're marketing yourself with the skills that that coach doesn't want to see, or that you don't have to play at that level, then you just showed that coach how unprepared you are in the marketing. And then even if some of you guys are pretty good, but you might not even be marketing right now with really bad outreach. So those go hand in hand. Having the skills the coach is looking for, and then knowing how to market them. You don't want to do one without the other. This is what current you is doing, whether it's even just one of these or all of them. Pretty much you don't know where you're going. You don't have a clear structure. You don't really even know where you want to go. You just have said, I want to play at the biggest Division one day, and then you're sticking to your guns. And I love that. I absolutely love it. But you need a deeper purpose for why do you even want to go there? What are we trying to accomplish, and where specifically do you want to go? So this is where you are right now. In this path, you need to ask yourself, you need to answer this question, does this all lead to the D1 version of you in the next few years? I say absolutely not. And that might sound harsh. And I'm not saying that this can't get you to college at some point. I am just saying that all this stuff you're doing will not lead to being one of the top 310 catchers in the nation to play Division I baseball, because there's 310 Division I baseball programs in the nation, and they each have one starting catcher, so you need to be the top one there. Now, if each one of those programs carry 3 catchers, which is a pretty accurate number, you need to be a top 930 catcher in the nation to be on an active D1 roster. But no one wants to just go play there or just go sit there. They want to actually play there. So that number goes back down to 310. You need to be really good is all I'm saying. And then you need to be projectable and have the skill sets that those coaches are looking for. So this might get you to NAIA out of high school, might get you to D3 out of high school, JUCO, or even D2. But will you actually even play at those levels you don't want to be at? That's going to be tough. I'm just being very honest. Big reason why I had a lot of D1 looks out of high school from massive programs in the nation, but I could never get an offer, so I ended up going JUCO route. And then if you know my story, I went to 4 different colleges before, God willing, playing a little bit of pro ball. So I was able to kind of make up in my career is what I would say. But it wasn't fun because I was like, man, all I want to do is go D1 and then professionally. I took the long way around and probably could have still been playing if I did not, listen to all this and do all this stuff. All right, now we're gonna talk about the Division I version of yourself. So again, pretend like there's a variant of yourself that figured it all out, that stopped doing all this nonsense, and then you eventually play Division I, and you are, maybe 4 years from now, and you're the starter there, and you figured it all out. What would that guy have done now, today, as a high school catcher in order to get there? That's what you're gonna find out. That guy would have a structured plan, okay? You know what you need to be doing each day, tailored to what you need. You specifically, you move different, you catch different than anyone out there, anyone ever on earth, so you need a plan tailored to that. Every rep you would be doing would be purposeful, okay? It wouldn't just be like, I think I need to do some blocking today. Let me just go through the motions. It would be purposeful in every rep, trying to attack a certain plan dependent on that structured plan, okay? Dependent on what you need, those would go hand in hand. And then when are we gonna do that? Daily development that's structured and purposeful. You would have that every single day, not one time a week with the coach, not a few times a week with a catching coach at your club or high school practice doing group work with you, or just daily random guessing. Now, the biggest one, in my opinion, clear feedback. Clear feedback. This is from a catching coach who knows more than you. No offense, you are a player right now. You are not a coach. So how are you coaching yourself? It's going to be really, really hard. I think it's important to know who you are and know how you develop, how you listen, or how you are coached and what you need to apply. But dude, you cannot be giving yourself feedback and critiquing your own video. You're always going to be biased. I always thought that I could just compare myself to some of the highest level catchers out there, slow down my video and be like, okay, if I get my elbow here and then up there and then do this, sweet. So then now my training plan on my own without a coach was me just trying to like mechanically like do that. And it never panned out. It was always just like random. It was, and then now that fades away and I wasted my training day and I wouldn't do it the next day because I'm like, I know deep down I'm wasting my time. So clear feedback is huge. That's one of the biggest things I help my players with inside the Backstop Built Complete Catchers Training Program, giving them all these 4 things right there, and then the clear feedback so they know exactly how to improve before their next game, or if they're out of season overall, dependent on what they struggled with or even did good, backed by their film and what they did in game. Okay, next one is going to be tracks progress. This version of you would be tracking the progress in depth, okay, weekly. What was my pop time, release time, back foot time, glove speed? What was my blocking adjustability? Being honest with yourself, writing a reflection even of, you know, how did this training week go? What did I actually do? Boom, boom, boom. Actually tracking this stuff, guys. And then at those showcases, it's going to reflect in the good numbers. That's just how it works. There's no surprise why Division I catchers end up playing Division I, because they belong there and they did these things right. Now, one of the biggest things here is confident plus trusted. You're finally confident, you believe you should be playing at that level and that you belong there. And then you are also trusted by the pitching staff. One of the biggest tell of how good you are at any level you're at is, are the pitchers begging for you to catch them that day? And are you like the rock back there that is the catcher that they need to be catching them? Okay. And that's going to breed confidence as well. But more importantly, with confidence, it needs to come deeper inside, that you know that I am good enough to play there. And a lot of you guys, this current you version is like, well, that's my dream and I want to say it out loud that I want to play at LSU. But can I actually play there? I don't think that you guys actually believe that. It doesn't matter if you could actually play there skill-wise if you don't believe it. And that's for you to determine. All right, last one is maximizes exposure. This goes hand in hand with what you're not doing right now with, you know, going to those showcases, random college camps, things like that. But this D1 version would be maximizing the exposure. So anytime there's any sort of exposure from a tournament or those camps, he is going to be taking full advantage and playing and having the right skills that those coaches are looking for. Like I said, maximizing those opportunities when you get exposure. And that's very, very important. There's no point in maximizing exposure when you don't actually have the skills to get there. So this guy is also marketing his skills the right way. His journey for marketing and skills is actually going to be a lot easier, that he has those skills to be there. And it's actually going to benefit him more to get on camera more, have a better highlight reel, things like that. Because again, he has the skills they're looking for. Now, I like this one as well. This D1 version would know that they belong. Kind of goes hand in hand with the confidence, but truly once they're at that level, they would know like, okay, I should be playing here and I'm comfortable. I would say comfortability is going to be the biggest things. I used to have so much anxiety about possibly going to a D1 and then getting exposed and then like the coach being like, you don't belong here. You know what I mean? Like, you're not that good. That was like my worst nightmare. Don't worry, it never happened because I never even went to a D1, so I didn't even have the opportunity. But that was my biggest fear, absolutely. Now, the last one is that D1 version of you would actually be getting the offer, okay? And this might sound like really silly logic, but if you're good enough to play at that level, you're going to play at that level eventually. Small cases where you actually should have been at that level, you don't play at that level, and you go to a different level in college, you're still going to be very good at that level and people will know, okay, this guy was at a D1, he should go to one next year, or he just like, you know, got screwed over, whatever. But if you're good enough to get the exposure there and go there, you're going to eventually get an offer. That's just straight up how it goes. If you're good enough, they're going to find you and you're going to be recruited. What you do with that recruitment at that time is on you and how you take advantage of that. Because again, we don't just want to go to that D1, we want to play there. Now, all this comes down to your training structure and having the right blocking, throwing, receiving, leadership, confidence, everything about your catching to compete at that level. Okay, I'm really big on like, okay, well, what's the average pop times of every D1 catcher? Sweet, let me get that pop time. What's the average blocking percentage of all of them? Sweet. What does it all look like? Let me mimic that and try and get as good as that. If you're as good as they are right now, you're going to get there. That simple. The issue is you're doing all this stuff and it's not allowing you to be as good as you possibly could be. So that's the real issue. It comes from all these within the training structure. So if you want to unlock the Division 1 version of yourself, you need to change everything you think about how you're training and how your development is going. And the results are going to tell you everything. Are you getting the result you want in game? Yes or no? Okay, no? Yeah, your training isn't working. It's not doing what it should. Yes, there's a process to this, but at the end of the day, you know deep down, have I gotten that much better from last year? Am I confident? Do I believe if I were in a game at, University of Arizona right now, could I compete? Or would I just be like, oh my gosh, get me out of here. I thought this is what I wanted. I'm not ready for it yet. That's for you to answer that question. So again, there is a version of you that could go D1 that maximizes the abilities that God gave you with your body type, with your skill set, with everything about you that makes you you, and you could unlock that. There's been so many players who play D1, guys with goofy bodies, weird coordination, and they still get there. What did they do differently to get there? All this stuff, guys. And you don't have to do it on your own, and you should not do it on your own. It's exactly why I created my program that I run guys through in order to unlock the best version of themselves behind the ditch. It's still not a guarantee that they'll go D1 because sometimes you're late in the process. Sometimes you maximize your abilities and you just straight up are not someone who is sought after. But as long as you maximize your abilities and do this in the pursuit of that D1 version of yourself, you're going to have a great college career at any other level. I can promise you that. But do not lose sight of your official and first goal of, hey, I wanted to play at this school when I was a kid. I wanted to play at UCLA as a kid, ever since I was a little kid. How do I make that happen? Everything I just went over. So you do not have to do this alone, nor should you, and you should take a deep dive into is your training actually working. If you want real structure and actual daily development with clear feedback that tracks progress, one-on-one, tailored messaging to you so you can actually have someone in your corner, then go ahead and look at the description below and you can book a call with me and I'll go over your situation if you're a high school catcher who doesn't know how to actually improve this. This is what I do, guys. This is how I've helped 80 plus catchers completely remotely, no matter where they're located, achieve their goals and dreams, all by improving their blocking, throwing, receiving, and everything about their catching. Literally everything. Your leadership, how you call pitches, bunt plays, all of it. You need to improve it all to a higher standard, and I want to help you do that. You can go ahead, again, link is in the description below. You can book a call with you, me, and have your parents there, and we can go over your situation, see if you're the right fit and how it looks inside the program to help you so you can work with me one-on-one inside the Backstop Built Complete Catchers Training Program. Without further ado, I hope you're able to understand this, and I hope that this stirs something in you to take it all to a whole new level because you do not have a lot of time. Even if you're a freshman in high school, you do not have a lot of time, and they want good players. D1s want good players. Make their job easy and get very, very good. Very simple. It's just not easy. So I'm here to help you. Please subscribe to this channel so you don't miss a valuable breakdown, a valuable training to achieve your goals and dreams as a catcher. And also please like this video as well. Again, hit that description below and then you'll see a link that says apply to work with me. And then you can click that and then go through, see exactly how we help catchers, and then you can book a call with us. Without further ado, I am Brock Johnson, striving to be the coach that I wish I had. God bless. Stay the course.